This e-learning video is on soldering, brazing and welding. Please ensure that you do take notes as you go through the video. Lesson objectives. After studying this video and making notes, you should be able to answer questions on soft soldering, brazing, welding and specialised welding systems. Soldering. Soft soldering is a process used to join materials such as steel, brass, tin or copper. It involves melting a mixture of lead and tin to act as the bond. A common example of a soldering joint is the electrical connection between the stator and diode pack in an alternator. This picture shows this process using the most common heat source, which is an electric soldering iron. Soldering process. The process of soldering is as follows. Prepare the surfaces to be joined by cleaning and using emery cloth or wire wool as appropriate. Add a flux to prevent the surfaces becoming dirty with oxide when heated, or use a solder with a flux core. Apply heat to the joint and add solder so it runs into the joint. Complete the process as quickly as possible to prevent heat damage. Use a heat sink if necessary. Soldering, in common with many other things, is easy after some practice. Take time to do this in your workshop. Note that some materials such as aluminium cannot be soldered by ordinary methods. Brazing. Brazing is a similar process to soldering, except a higher temperature is needed and a different filler is used. The materials to be joined are heated to red heat and the filler rod, after being dipped in flux, is applied to the joint. The heat from the materials is enough to melt the rod and it flows into the gaps, making a good, strong but flexible joint. The similar metals such as brass and steel can also be joined and less heat is required than when fusion welding. Brazing is only used on a few areas on a vehicle body. Welding. Welding is a method of joining metals by applying heat, combined with pressure in some cases. A filler rod of a similar metal is often used. The welding process joins metals by melting them, fusing the melted areas and then solidifying the joined area to form a very strong bond. Welding technology is widely used in the automotive industry. Welding process. The principal processes used today are gas and arc welding, in which the heat from a gas flame or an electric arc melts the faces to be joined. This picture shows a welding process in action. Welding. Several welding processes are used. Please pause the video here so that the screen stays on this slide. Ensure that you take notes on each type of welding process. Specialised welding. Other specialised types of welding include laser beam welding, which makes use of the intensive heat produced by a light beam to melt and join the metals, and ultrasonic welding, which creates a bond through the application of high frequency vibrations while the parts to be joined are held under pressure. Now that you've taken the correct notes, please ensure that you attempt the quiz underneath this. If there's any information which you think you have missed, please ensure that you also access the PowerPoint hyperlinked in the Google Doc.